Welcome to Holistic Health with Melissa, a podcast for women who are ready to stop living in survival mode and start truly healing. I'm Melissa, a holistic trauma and anxiety coach, and here we talk about all things holistic healing for trauma, anxiety, and the nervous system. We blend science, scripture, and somatic work to help you regulate your body, renew your mind, and reconnect with the peace God designed for you to live in. If you're craving real healing, freedom from symptoms, and joy that reaches your mind, body, and spirit, you're in the right place. It is a pervasive problem in our culture, in our it's really in our culture, and definitely I think in women, we have this unbelievable ability to be so, even the kindest people that I meet are so mean to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, friend. Do you feel like you've done all the things? You've tried the therapy, the pills, the diets, and nothing seems to work? You have a great life, but something is still missing. You don't feel energized, alive, or free, but you know that you are called for something more. Then I want you to join me for the 3-day Mind Body Healing Workshop, where we'll blend science, scripture, and somatic work to heal your mind, body, and spirit for real this time. You'll step into whole body restoration, finding joy, freedom from symptoms, and freedom from the chains of trauma that have been holding you back. I cannot wait to see you there. Go to holistichealthbymelissa.com to sign up. Your life will never be the same. Welcome, everybody, back to Holistic Health with Melissa. I am so excited that you are here today. We have Robin McIntire. She is a self-leadership coach who works with ambitious women who are tired of holding it all together. Oh boy, can we relate with that? Her work helps women shift the energy behind their success so it fuels them instead of depleting them. Robin believes that when we accept and love all parts of ourselves and offer ourselves the same grace we give others, life feels lighter and more joyful. She is known for normalizing our shared humanity and struggles, making hard things easier to talk about and less heavy to carry. With over 4 decades of championing, boy, that's a hard word, women, Robin blends practical tools with deep insight and help clients reduce guilt and self-doubt, rebuild self-trust, and lead their lives with calm confidence. Because when we bring higher energy with us, everything changes. What a awesome bio, Robin. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation. Thank you for being here.
Melissa, thank you for having me. It's real fun, and it's taken me years and years to realize all the little pieces that we do that get us where we're going, and it's a lot of hard lessons and stepping stones. And so, if we can share and help people, it's great.
Yeah, that's why I love podcasting so much, because I feel like just like the value of hearing other people's stories and like bringing it to the stage and allowing other people to see themselves in your story
Mhm.
is there's so much value in that. And obviously, like, I get to talk to like tons of awesome people, which is a plus, and I really love having fun, awesome conversations with like-minded individuals. So um yeah, we know each other. We live local to each other. And so we
Mhm.
know each other a little bit through some networking. And so I have been thinking for a long time, actually, like, gosh, that'd be a cool guest. And it finally happened. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see where this takes us. Um, Now, we know a little bit from your bio, and I know a little bit more than that says, but I'd love for you to just kind of, for the listener who, is meeting you for the first time, to give us a little background, like, how did you get into this work? What brought you here?
My own journey, yeah, brought me here. So I'm definitely one of those people that is teaching what I've learned and am still learning. And it started, I will go way back. Lost my mom at 10, and then had some, I was in high school when I became bulimic. So they're just some big markers that I can look back on and say, oh, and I understand, to this day, I'm finding out, oh, maybe this is what has to do with that. So what I learned during the bulimia, not getting help, I would not suggest it. It was a long journey. Long story short, I came up to go to UNC here in Greeley, Colorado, and and uh, and was there for a couple years. But during the time I was here, I joined a ladies' gym, and I was still in secrecy around my bulimia, and I knew I needed accountability. And so I joined this gym, and within a short time, one of the techs came up and said, "Have you ever thought about teaching?" An instant, I know I didn't know this word at the time or recognize it anyway, but I look back and go, oh, I know I didn't feel worthy because if they only knew, right? So long story short, I said yes when I was afraid. Best thing I ever did. I was there for a long time, working with a lot of women. That's what started my whole relationship with helping women and I knew I could not go in front of the room and teach from a place of not being in integrity with myself and talking about how to be healthy, going in these little chat rooms with these women and talking about food. So it's a God thing for sure. I don't know how else it could have happened because like I said, I didn't get help. But that turned into my path for so long was just then the owner said, are you interested in managing? And I was at school without too much direction. I got my general ed out of the way. I loved the psychology piece, so I took extra psychology classes, but went ahead and went with, no, I'm going to manage this place and really great experience for many, many years. And that was just the start of my fit direction in fitness. And I stayed in fitness off and on for 40 some years, later got certified as a personal trainer, and then did some other things along the way. I was a nail tech for 7 years. I learned how to do nails when my kids were little. So again, holding women's hands, having them share a lot when you're holding their hand. So just feel like I've heard a lot of stories. I've shared a lot of my own stories. So and even when I was even back at Gloria Stevens, I felt like I was definitely on the tail end of these behaviors. And I did come out and share it. And I know that was the part of helping myself get to healing. It's like once I announced it, it's not like I'm willing to stay in it, so people will be watching, right? So, but what I learned during that time, and it's come in handy lots of times in my life, is the secrecy is the part that I always say about killed me. The secrecy of it, the shame of it, if people only knew. And so now, I mean, I'm not definitely not a professional that can help people with eating disorders per se at all. I'd have to pass that along to somebody that's experienced. But having experienced that, the human part of it is I know what it feels like to feel like you are like very powerless and I refer to it as the black hole because I knew I needed help. I was too scared to get help. I knew if I went into treatment, everybody would know. I was in high school of all things.
Mm.
So that shame and self-loathing, Melissa, I put on my bathroom mirror a picture of my face that was very puffy and toxic because of my habits. I was also a party girl at the time. And I cut out a picture of my face and put pink ears on it and put a round pink body of a pig behind it. Stuck that on my bathroom mirror thinking it would motivate me.
Mm.
So I really do know about self-loathing and just grappling and trying to figure it out. And um, that was just I had forgotten all about that. Years later, my brother joked with me about it. I was like, and now as an adult, looking at my little inner child, going, "I'm so sorry, sweetie."
Oh, yeah.
That was not helpful. So just things like that. That was just such a huge part of my journey. And then getting into the fitness and and then years later. Uh, Mark and I have been married almost, I think it'll be 44 years. this June.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you. But we had some peaks and valleys, of course. And there was a time in our life where we weren't doing well. And during therapy, the therapist nails me with perfectionism. And I'll never forget it. Whether it was right or wrong, the way she said it, this is how I interpreted it. And it was okay because I needed to hear it. But she said, "So, how do you think it is for your husband and your sons that you think you should be perfect? So, you probably think they should be perfect too."
Ooh.
And it was like a two by four. And so then I swung way over to, oh, well, I need to be a recovering perfectionist now. And I was really excited about that and proud of that for so many years. And and I feel I am proud about doing the work around it, of being aware of it and not making myself wrong about it, and all the things. But I read a book 2 years ago that I don't know if you want to make note of this. It is the best book for women, I believe. It's called The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control.
Mm.
Kathleen, I think it's pronounced Schaeffler. I believe she's a psychologist. But that book was so fun for me, and it came at such a time where I was like, oh my gosh, I've been making this so wrong. And so she's basically saying there's nothing wrong with perfectionism. There's just adaptive and maladaptive. So, the beating ourselves up part when we don't hit the mark is the part that I relate to so much that I don't, that if I had it my way, women would not do that at all, right? We're not allowed to beat up on ourselves. But she has a quiz that's free online, and it talks about the five types of perfectionists. The funny thing is, there's one even called the messy perfectionist. So, but anyway, that kind of flipped me back because after this therapy, I was giving myself so much grace that I was swinging way over here, and then maybe just it's okay however I feel, and whatever I want to do is fine as long as, I'm kind and do these things. And then I swung back over to trying to find this middle ground. So most of where I feel like the lessons I've learned have all had to do with you've got to look right here for sure. Even this stuff with my husband and I, it was all his fault until I learned it wasn't. So, that's pretty humbling. And and really now I just really love to teach that we need to work our own side of the street. If we stay busy working our own side of the street, the rest kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Wow. So powerful. Like what a powerful journey. Um, Beautiful journey that you have had. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, thank you. It can feel that way after we stop and appreciate it, right?
Yeah,
While we're in it, it doesn't feel good, but
for
yeah,
sure.
I think that's what gives us our drive to help other people, that we don't want them to feel alone. We don't want them to feel like they're the only one. So
Yeah.
it's so worth putting it out there if it can help people for sure.
Yeah. So much of what you said, gosh, there's so many different ways that we could go because it is a pervasive problem in our culture, in our probably our, I mean, it's really in our culture and definitely I think in women, we have this unbelievable ability to be so, even the kindest people that I meet are so mean to themselves.
Mhm.
I know this is a big question, but what do you believe is the root of that? Why is that?
I think it goes way, way back. I honestly think it goes way, way back. Upbringing can be so much, or, what did we do to get love when we were little? Did we think, after my mom passed, I think I took on the role, and I didn't know this at the time, of course, but I think I took on the role of I have to make everybody else comfortable and okay. And if I'm perfect, well, again, I wasn't thinking if I'm perfect, probably, but if I do everything just right, my dad won't be so sad, and my poor brother and the poor twins, they were 7 months old. And so I think I took that role on as trying to just make everything okay. So I think for me, that's, dad's love meant everything, of course, and I'm trying to help him with his broken heart and take care of everybody else. So I think part of it, I really do believe most everything that we have, that we carry, if they're long held beliefs, come from something we did either for survival or for love or just learned, conditioned.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I see that so much in women. Um, any trauma that we've had, and I always preface or like my little caveat is like trauma. People don't resonate always with that word trauma, but trauma is not the event. It's what happens inside of you as a result of any event. So trauma can be your parents divorcing, even if it was amicable, if you're like moving from house, going back from house to house. Trauma can be losing a job, getting broken up with by a boyfriend, getting made fun of on the playground on the swing or something, or not having somebody take the swing away from you, or, you know. So I agree with you that it all goes way, way back to beliefs that we start to carry about ourselves and about our existence in the world and how we stay safe. And it really is our nervous system stepping in and saying, like, and that's how you developed for the bulimia and the perfectionism is I have to be perfect to stay safe. And yeah, it wasn't like a cognitive like
Mhm.
thought, but in hindsight, I'm sure you look back and you go, yep, that was exactly what I was trying to do. I was trying to control everything because if I could control it, I can stay safe. And if I stay safe, I stay alive. And that's what we're trying to do is just stay alive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That feels very true. Yeah, for sure.
I think the nervous system is like the most powerful thing in the world. It's like every time I talk about it, I'm just like, it is definitely the most powerful um system in the body. And it dictates everything that we do.
Well, and two, even with my clients too, I don't talk, specific nervous system, but same with what energy are we showing up with? Because,
Mhm.
your body's telling you things all the time. I often talk about getting the tap. When it was time for me to quit drinking wine, I kept getting the tap going, This isn't who you want to be right now. So are you going to pay attention? Are you going to pay attention? Are you going to pay attention? So then if we ignore the tap, we probably aren't as checked into as to our body as well, right? I think there's a lot of people not checked into their body. They're like, what do you mean? I'll feel something in my body. And yeah, there's so much to being in alignment and having a calmer nervous system, right?
Yeah. What do you think like is one of the best ways to recognize that tap and come into alignment? How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I really push first because it's hard to make time for it is if we don't have white space in our day and we are just in go mode and default mode of just keep moving, I think it's very hard to stay checked in and hear anything. So I bet if we did a little survey of people that took prayer time or journal time or gratitude time or whatever that is for people to connect inside with themselves, probably much more aware of it, um, much more aware of what's not working
Yeah.
and what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I could not agree more with that. Like I see that all the time and women I hear from when I actually just recorded a solo episode yesterday. It'll come out next week about the act of self-care. And I think that we see like and I qualify, I broke it down into different buckets, one of them being like spiritual, meaning like spending time in prayer, meditation, journaling, gratitude, like looking inward, spending that time actually connecting with yourself. And we have this like distorted view of what self-care looks like in our society, that self-care is like oh, go get your nails done, or like,
Yeah.
like go have a drink with your friends. And like, not that those things are bad or that they can't be a form of self-care, but I don't think that that's really the self-care that's actually filling you up.
I agree.
And we spend, and then we also have this like culture that just perpetuates that go, go, go. Like you can't stop. Like being busy is almost like a badge of honor. It's like, oh, my schedule's so packed. I don't have, like people, I hear that from people all the time. It's like, oh, well, my schedule's busier. My schedule's busier. They're like trying to up level each other, like how busy they are. I'm like, this is not good.
No. Well, just the other day, I said to someone, I was trying to get back to my cousin, and I was texting her. I said, I don't like to say I'm busy, but it has been a good busy. I'm going to try to reach out next. I didn't say try. I said I'm going to reach out next week. I promise, because we talk for an hour, so I need that kind of time. But I refrain from using that word, and I try to remember everybody is busy in their own way. Same as overwhelmed or stressed. I try not to even use the words because it's helpful. But yeah, the white space, oh boy, it's the one that is the most challenging for my ideal client to give herself is I don't have time for white space. And that can look like, go to your appointment 15 minutes early, sit in your car, take a moment,
Yeah.
It could mean get up 15 minutes earlier, not to clean the house, but to sit with something that you'll enjoy, like your coffee or tea and a meditation, or just something that says it's okay to be still.
Yeah. When the women that you work with, these ambitious women that are like holding it all, what does
Mhm.
that actually look like with like behind the scenes?
There's There's so much, well, I've had several of them say, we've all heard the phrase, I look smooth on top of the water, but I'm like a duck and my feet are just go, go, go underneath. They also aren't rested like they'd like to be rested. A lot of what happens too is they just their own needs. I skipped my workout. I didn't make time to take the food I intended to take. Instead, I went through the drive-through. So being perfectionist and ambitious, yes, they're trying to take care of their body best they can, but it often goes to the bottom of the list because when we are good at what we do, we show up for other people and we think, well, I'll get to me later. So, yeah. What was the exact question? How did
I
you
said
word
that
that?
what is holding it all like
Yes.
what does it look
Yeah.
like?
Holding it all is basically they're afraid to stop. They don't want to lose their edge. They don't want to say no to anything because no, the identity
Yeah.
is I can do this all. I can handle it.
Yeah.
And and I want
But-
to help with, but do you want to handle all of it?
Right? Do
And
you
if you
truly want that?
yeah.
I think you said when you were talking about your own story, you talked about like the shame and self-loathing and um I think that that drives so much of it too. Like obviously the nervous system and the patterns that we learn as children, right? But like guilt and shame and negative self-talk, self-doubt, like do you see those patterns like driving this like high performance?
Many, most times, yes.
Yeah.
And it's so fragile, right? Because to tell a woman who's proud of being a high achiever and having high standards, I the other day with a client, I said, I am not trying to ask you not to be productive. It's not about that at all. It's just when you are, can you bring this, can we find a happier reason to do it than because I should or I have to? So we work a lot with language to try to reframe. And working through that sometimes is what they can figure out as we speak. Oh, it is a should. That isn't even my thing. That's because it's OPOs, it's other people's opinions, it's
Mhm.
my dad's voice from when I was a kid. There's so many things. So it's touchy. It's very touchy. And again, I think this with coaching, we try to ask the questions that help them find that for themselves. But it's so rewarding when they start seeing it and it's like, no, it's okay to rest.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be perfect at this new sport you're trying because you
You're
haven't
brand
taken any.
new.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
That's what I tell people about like coaching, and I work, like with the nervous system and somatic work and this identity and the language and all of that. And people are like, is this really like, I don't know if I'm any good at this. I'm like, how long have you been practicing? How long did you practice all of the negative self-talk and these cycles that were just self-perpetuating and like all this nervous
yeah,
system dysregulation? How many decades exactly do you suppose that you practiced that? How many decades have you been practicing the alternative? Not for decades. You've been practicing it for like 1 month.
yeah,
So, like, let's give ourselves some grace.
yeah. Well, and speaking of that, there, even grace for some of the women that are really, really strong in their conditioning and their ways of being that make them high achievers. Even the word grace can make them nervous because they're afraid to lose their edge.
Mm.
If I'm not spinning all the plates or if I slow down or and I know this one myself, I really do. I was at a time where I just felt like I had to hustle, hustle, hustle. And the people that I was following and learning from, some of the huge thought leaders, they've even come around now they've softened it. But it used to be like, you can sleep when you're dead, and I was going at that pace. And it was so discouraging because you just you could never catch up. And now I know that I can't catch up, so I don't try to catch up. I try to, and I teach what needs to happen right now, what's important today, without getting too touchy feely. But stay with your task list, stay with your goals, but how can we do it in a way that just doesn't feel so hard? and
What do you
and
think the fear is right there when, like, with the shame, like they're afraid that they are with the grace. You said that they don't even like the word grace because they think if they have to keep going or they're going to lose their edge. Like, what is the fear? What are they actually afraid of?
well, where that came up for me first is as a personal trainer and trying to get women to understand, it's not just about eat whatever you want tomorrow and then come in and, Robin, kick my butt. I ate too much pizza last night. It's so when I would try to get them to slow down a little bit, keep food logs, and no, we're not trying to lose 8 pounds a week. That's the example I can give you really strong is women are like, no, it's go time. I got to do this. I should have done this last year. And it's, if I try to tweak anything that they conceive slowing them down, the fear is I'm going to fall behind, I'm not going to make it. But the food, what happened a lot during that time was I'm gonna gain weight. If I'm too gentle on myself, I'm going to overeat and I'm going to gain weight. That's when that really became apparent to me, is trying to help them go in. I created an online course called Mind Body Do-Overs, and it was not a diet plan. It was a way for women to look at food different, see themselves as a different eater. And that's where I really found that too, is they were like, oh, this is too slow. And it's like, it's not the quick fix. It's not I gotta go, gotta go. I needed to do this yesterday. So
Mm.
I do. I think it's losing time. If I fail, if people know me as the one that takes care of everything and I take a step back, what are they going to think? I think a lot of it is about other people's opinions, even if they don't know it.
And then going even deeper than that, I think, like, is there any, like, I think it's associated with their worth.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
they're
you said
they're
it.
they're valuing, like, if because they're worried about other people's opinions acutely, right? But they're worried about, like, if I don't do this, if I'm not balancing all of this and people don't perceive that I'm like doing it all, then I'm not worthy
I think that's at the base of almost everything too, don't you?
at everything.
Yeah.
I think that's like the core wound of every woman that I've ever worked with or talked to is I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I actually did I don't have them sitting here anymore, but oh maybe I still do. I still do. I had a I did a talk I shared this on social media at Momco in October, which is formerly MOPS, and I asked the question, what is the one belief about yourself that's holding you back from the life that you want? And I
Mm.
collected 66 cards, index cards. I passed out index cards, and 66 people, there was about 75 people in the room, so some people didn't answer. 66 cards, yeah, 66. 38 of them or something was I'm not worthy or I'm not enough.
Wow.
So over half. And then other ones were like close to that, but not exactly that. But it's really this negative belief about our worth.
And it's humbling because when it comes up, especially as much work as I've done and all, all the things, and then when it comes up in something and I have to look at that, it's hard, right? It's hard to say, wait a minute, I feel worthy. I've done all this work and this and that, but it does. I think it comes up in different times of our lives for different reasons and different triggers, right?
Yeah. And it's kind of like this constant, like it's you never, I tell people all the time, like you never arrive. Like
Yeah.
there's no arrival, right? There's not like a you get to a place where you're like, oh, I've done it all. I've it's perfect. I have this perfect self-image. I have this like I have no fear. I'm totally healed. Like it's a journey. It's not a destination. If
And
anybody
that
tells you
in,
otherwise, they're lying.
right? Well, and that in itself, I think is so helpful because if when we buy into that and say that's the truth, then we stop being disappointed that we're not somewhere else. It,
Right.
you
Yeah, and
know,
you can just you could just be happy for the progress that you've made because
yeah,
we're all on some kind of journey. We're all fighting, something in our
yeah.
lives at all times, right?
Just keep evolving, and then there's another thing, and then there's another thing.
Yeah.
And what I love too is to think about what I really want for my women is I tell them, I just want you to understand you can sit in anything, no matter how uncomfortable it is. You can sit in it. We don't have to like it. We don't have to love it. It doesn't have to be fun, but we
Yeah.
know we're okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
life is not your circumstances. Life is who you're being inside of those circumstances.
I
That's
have
what
a
it is.
mantra I want to share with you.
Please.
It goes perfect with that. And you might have already heard it at we got to be at WOW together, but it's what I want my women to walk away with. And I say, you can take this with you if you can hold this. I am okay no matter where I am, who I'm with, or what's going on around me.
Mm.
To me, that it just reminds me that I'm safe. I can, again, doesn't have to be fun, but I'm okay. And what I do with that too is I just go inside because nobody can be in here except me and God, right? And that's where the security lies. I mean, even if physically something's happening, whatever, you can still go in here, you and God. And that's, I love that mantra. It came to me, I want to say in the last 2 years sometimes where I just said, that is how I want to feel. That is when I ground myself, that is how one of the ways I do it because there's always going to be drama and there's always going to be hard stuff. But if we can believe we're a woman that's okay, we're going to show up a lot more okay than not.
Yeah, that's so powerful. That's like we align in so much of what we do, and that's really exactly what I teach women to do is like bringing the safety back to their body, back like knowing that they have that inside of them. It exists inside of you. You just have to tap into it. This go, 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 these negative thought loops, the trauma patterns, all of that keeps you away from that. But really
Mm,
going inside and helping your body, like you have the mantra, but what you do, the reason why it sticks is because you're actually going into your body because the body always keeps the score.
yeah.
So like you can shout affirmations at the mirror, it's never going to stick if your body doesn't believe it. Your body has to believe it. And that's what you do when you're saying that mantra and you like close your eyes and go inside of you. So, so powerful. I love that so much. What do you think, like, how do we start to build back the broken like self-trust that I think these feelings and these identities and these patterns, like it ultimately it severs our self-trust.
Hmm.
Um, how do we start to build that back up?
I believe that just declaring that you want to, just I might not know how, and we know that about goals, right? Don't If we worry about the how, we get all messed up. If we just get clear on what we want, then there's your starting point. So for anybody that's already aware, for first thing, right? Got to be aware of it and really declare I want to trust myself more again. And even if that for me, it would come to a place where I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just kind of tired of making excuses for this. So I got a little bit of, pissy energy, I call it, uh, to get things rolling for myself. Like, really, Robs, how long are you gonna, keep disappointing yourself or whatever? So that's, even though my self-talk isn't calling myself mean names anymore, there's still a form of it. Like, ooh, I'm disappointed. Let's get out of this. So awareness, declaring I want to, even if you don't know how, just I want to change this. I want to start trusting myself again. And as we know, when we don't trust ourselves, our confidence is way low. I mean, we can be confident in some areas of our life, but when it comes right down to it, where the rubber meets the road, we don't trust ourselves. There's a lot of problems, a lot of problems. So, um, yeah, I would say even even being able to sit and say, where am I not showing up for myself? Where am I out of alignment? And again, that's listening for the tap, right? What's niggling at me that I know I need to be doing different? Either a habit I need to stop or something I want to start. If I'm out of alignment, I'm feeling that like itchy sweater thing, right?
Mm,
So yeah, declare it and then sit down and be quiet with yourself. Do the hard thing, which is, where am I disappointing myself? Where am I letting myself down?
yeah.
Um, and
We're
that
so good at like making promises to other people and then
yes,
not following through with the promises that we make to ourselves. And
it's
I know the quote like you can only trust someone that you spend time with, right? You can only or what is it? Like you can only trust someone that you know and you can only know someone that you spend time with. So you have to spend time with
mm,
yourself.
good.
And that goes for God too. Like they say that about being with God. Like you can say you have a relationship with him, but you can only know him and trust him if you're actually spending time with him. If you're not, then that's just it's all word, word salad. It doesn't actually mean anything. Your relationship with yourself is so powerful and like making promises. You trust people because they say what they
They do
say
what
they're
they
going to do
say.
something and they do it. So how can you make a promise to yourself and actually keep it so you can build that self-trust and prove to yourself that you are trustworthy?
Right. Got to have the evidence, right?
Yeah.
So if I can tell a quick little story. So
Yeah.
when I was doing a small group personal training at my home, I have mirrors on the wall down in our gym. And I had the gals, I think there were 6 or 8 of them, and I had them get this close. Their feet were maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches from the mirror. And I asked them for 3 minutes to stare into their own eyes.
Mm,
And I said, don't be looking at your skin and face and making comments about your wrinkles in there. Like don't, it was quiet time, but still it was like, just look into your eyes like like you really wanted to see a friend. And there was so much squirming. It was the most uncomfortable thing. And that's a great example of why some people are like, what do you mean spend time with yourself? What do you mean get to know yourself? But that is what you just said, Melissa, is so spot on, because how do we change anything if we don't look at it? And
yeah.
if we are feeling it, which I believe most people, if they're not having good days, I don't want to say happy, but if they don't feel joy and they don't feel this, and they don't get curious about why, there's very little chance to figure it out. But getting real with yourself and spending time with yourself, like you said, I think it's such a gift if we can do that for ourselves. And I honestly don't believe we can become the person we want to be without it.
Yeah. I so agree with that. What do you, so for the woman who's listening right now, who's like, that's me. I don't feel joyful and I don't like myself. I'm disappointing myself and I don't have the life that I wanted and or dreamed of. What do you talk directly to her? Like, what would you say to her?
I would say that first, you're not alone. Very importantly, you're not alone. Um, Second, if you can sit with yourself and be your observer, not your judge, while
Mm,
you sit and make a list of the things that you feel you wish were better. And again, don't let, but I don't know how, don't let the how part get in the way of making the list. So it's an inventory. What's working in my life? What's not working in my life? And the other thing I would say about happy that I can use myself in is once I realized it was not my husband's job to make me happy, it wasn't my friend's jobs to make me feel like I was enough, all the things that we do when we don't know better. Um, if you could get really excited about, wow, if I'm going to work my own side of the street and find my own joy, not cutting anybody out, of course, that's all a given that we're trying to do all this with love and with all the people we care about. But what would I need to do different to
mm,
feel a little more joyful? And just those combinations of, and you could do just a total brain dump. It doesn't have to be, it can be on a napkin. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't wait till you have the perfect journal. Just sit down and say, wow, if I was a woman who was going to feel happier and more joyful, and I'm taking care of what's not working, what does it look like? So that's a little messy. That was kind of all over the place, but
no, that's
it,
perfect. I love that. And just do it, right? Like
yeah.
actually do it to make it like you said, I love that you said don't let the how get in your way because you don't need to know the how right now, but you need to know what awareness is always the first step. So
Mhm.
becoming aware of what's actually working and not working is has to be where you start.
Yeah.
So I love
Just
that you
getting
said that.
clear on that too. And I really believe too, once we declare something, there's a shift. And I like to say too, I used to be in a multi-level marketing. My upline used to say, if you guys lay one brick, I'll lay two. And I've started saying, if we lay one brick, God lays two.
Mm,
It's happened for me too many times to not believe that's true. If God knows we really want to change and we really want something,
yeah.
and we ask and then we're open to doing some action, it's
Mm.
it's amazing. But declaring it and getting super clear is yeah, second after awareness.
So good. So good. Robin, oh my gosh, what a pleasure. If people want to find you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I would say my website, it is my name spelled with all our I's. It's ROBINMCINTIRE.com. And yeah, that's probably best. I'm on social media as Robin McIntire Coaching or Robin McIntire. So I do have a fun private Facebook group. Anybody's invited. I guess we're mostly women, to be honest. There's a few guys in there, but and we just call that living your best energy. How to show up in your best energy to live your best life. So just trying to keep things light so that we can deal with them. And I love, love, love to help people just be brave, surrender, put your stuff on the table so you can sort it and let go of what you don't want anymore.
Yeah. Amen.
So
Well, we'll put all of those links in the show notes for people to find you. So, um, thank you so much for being here. What a fun conversation
Melissa,
this
thank
was.
you. This has been very fun for me, and I'm just really grateful that we met.
Yeah, same. Thank you for listening. If this episode resonated with you or if you found value in it, please share it with a friend, share it on your social media, tag me, leave me a 5-star review so we can get this movement out. It's not just a message, it's a movement, and healing is always possible. See you on the next episode. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Holistic Health with Melissa. It is such an honor to have you here. If you found value in today's episode, would you share it with a friend who might need it too and leave us a review? If you have questions or topic suggestions, reach out on social media or visit our website, holistichealthbymelissa.com, and take care. I'll catch you on the next episode.